guys, Ashley Francis here, the holistic psychotherapist, and today we're going to talk about one of the most common things that comes up in therapy, and that is people pleasing or seeking approval. Yeah, so this affects a lot of women in particular because we are just kind of socialized to be this way, to be agreeable, to be passive, to be non-confrontational. And so a lot of this people pleasing and seeking of approval comes out of just the way that we're conditioned. And of course, some of it can come from the way that we are raised. So I'm going to talk about some of the characteristics that define people pleasing to help you identify if this is something that you are struggling with. We'll talk about a little bit about where it comes from, and then some things that you can start doing right away to start building your confidence so that you can break the cycle of seeking approval and people pleasing. So there is a phrase in the counseling world that people pleasing is parent pleasing. So the idea here, the theory, is that we've had parents that were a little overbearing as we were growing up, and the expectations and standards that were set for us were a little high. Maybe they were a lot high. Maybe they were toxically high. But the point is that we had expectations that were not really realistic and created this belief about ourselves that we're not good enough and that we're never going to be good enough. And so that it sets us on this track of sometimes perfectionism, staying in your comfort zone and doing things for others, not yourself, because you're always prioritizing something outside of yourself. And typically this comes from a parent who seemingly could not be pleased. So that is why people pleasing comes out of parent pleasing. And another way that this could go from coming from your parents or caretaker, I want to make that distinction too, doesn't necessarily have to be a parent, but who you were raised by. Maybe it was the other end of the spectrum where they were not very attentive to your needs and they were not very involved with your life or your emotions. So one of the ways that you sought their attention and their approval was to be a good little girl or a good little boy. And that was your way of trying to seek their approval. If I just get all A's, or if I work a job and do college level classes in high school, then maybe I'm going to get some attention from my parent who seems to be buried in their work and doesn't really seem to have a lot of time or attention for me. Or maybe they were addicted to drugs and they just simply were not available, even for themselves, but definitely not you. And so you internalized, when I do good things, I might actually get a small little compliment, or they may even give me a look of approval. So I internalized a long time ago that when I do good things, when I follow the rules, then that means that I could possibly get the approval. So this is really rooted in a sense of low self-esteem. It's a low sense of self, that I am not good enough as I am, just for who I am, and therefore I must look outside of myself towards achievements or rewards or any sort of recognition that is going to make me feel good temporarily until I'm ready to chase the next high. So yeah, one of the ways that you can identify this as you is that you have a tendency to stay in your comfort zone. You keep those guardrails on. You don't ever really venture out because, one, that's too freaking scary, and two, you do not want to risk looking stupid, making any mistakes, or God forbid, miss an opportunity for a piece of approval. One of the things that could bring this about too is lack of achievement, lack of personal fulfillment. You may have reduction in your performance because you're so focused on doing and performing for other people that it becomes so stressful and so overwhelming that you even lose sight of why you're doing it in the first place. But yeah, so you can look at it from a present standpoint, that if you're not feeling a sense of achievement, or you were for a long time and now you've just kind of hit this place in your life where you're not feeling fulfilled, you're not performing as well, and you've got more stress in your life, it's probably because you are outsourcing all of your energy somewhere else. So now let's talk about some of the other characteristics. One is coaxing compliments from people just so that you'll feel better, that you'll dress really nicely or overdo your hair and makeup or whatever it is, just to get some compliments from people. The next thing is to pretend to know more than you do so that you will not be viewed as incompetent, that you have something of significance to offer. The next is anything that is contrary to your identity and purpose or conflicts with your core beliefs. So anything that falls into this category. You might even soften your approach because you're afraid that somebody might disagree with you. And when they do disagree with you, it feels awful. You feel very rejected, you take it personally, it doesn't feel good. You may give insincere compliments just because you want other people to be approving of you, to like you. I don't even like the dress that you're wearing, but I'm gonna tell you that I like it because I want you to like me. Next is agreeing when you don't agree. Just because you're either trying to keep the peace or you don't want to make a big deal out of it, you're avoiding some sort of confrontation or conflict, you do agree even if you disagree just to kind of keep the peace. The next is doing something you don't want to because you're afraid to say no. So this kind of falls in the same category, but this may be overextending yourself. You know, your friends and or family or even your neighbors are asking you to come house sit or babysit just because they know that you're going to say yes. You're a yes person. You're a people pleaser. They know that they can rely on you. So they're going to ask you to do this, that, and the fourth because you will say yes and you never say no. The next is failing to complain about poor service or a product that really wasn't for you. It didn't work out. So you're going to sit there quietly eating that sandwich that has mayonnaise on it, and you hate mayonnaise, but what you hate even more than mayonnaise is to tell the waitress that you hate mayonnaise. Another is to gossip just to simply gain attention. Maybe it's not even something that you even care about, but you tend to join in the conversation to be one of the gals or one of the guys to have something to contribute. And you may notice that some people will bond over that. They'll bond over their hatred. And internally, you know that doesn't feel good because you know that they're just as easily capable of doing that about you or to you, but you do it just to save face and to be a part of the group. And the last is seeking permission when it is not required. This can also come in the form of apologizing too much. I'm sorry, or I apologize for that. You're taking responsibility for things that aren't even your responsibility. All right, so what do we do with all this? Does this resonate with you? Yeah. So the whole idea is to create a stronger sense of self, getting really clear on what is it that you do like. In fact, that might be really hard. Maybe you've never actually sat down and did an inventory of all of the things that you actually like. So that's what I would recommend starting with, is making a list of the things that you really like. And then making another list of all of the people that play really big roles in your life that are most impactful. And taking a look at those two lists and seeing if they coincide. Do these things that I like, do they have any ties to these people that have a big influence in my life? Might even make another list of all the things that those people like. And really getting an idea of, I've got this list of what they like, I've got this list of what I like, and what's the common denominators here? Am I even a factor in this? Or am I completely doing this for this list of people in the middle? I don't know. So that's really what it is about, is getting clear on what your likes are. And then the next thing is to enforce those boundaries. That if you don't like something, you tell the waitress you don't like the mayonnaise. Or you speak up during that meeting if you felt like your boss had slighted you. You excuse yourself from gossipy situations if you feel like that's not something that you really want to be a part of. Now, all of this stuff sounds a lot easier said than done, because it is. So you may need the help of some trusted friends or maybe even a good therapist. But really the idea is to get clear on who you are, what you like, and then fight for it. Fight like hell, and to be okay with some of the pushback, because you will get pushback. I guarantee it. But please know that there are people that are on your side that are here to support you in you being your most authentic self. So let me know what you guys think about this video, what your experiences are in the comments below. Give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Thanks so much.